Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today on the Glow Heartfulness webinars. We have a very special guest here with us today, Amandine Roche. She's a human rights lawyer. Hello, Amandine. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Purnima. Nice to be with you and all of you today.
Thank you. So for the first timers who are here with us on the Glow webinars, Glow is an acronym for Genuine, Loving, Outstanding Women. And it's a series of webinars to teach heartfulness meditation, which is very simple yet a very effective type of meditation on the heart in the presence of yogic transmission or pranahuti, which is imparted by the guide. So Amandine, who has joined us today, she holds an MD in International Relations, an LM in Political Science, an MA in Human Rights and International Humanitarian Law. She's also formally studied Media and International Development. She studied nonviolent communication, peace education, and leadership. Amandine's current peace-building efforts focuses on democracy, human rights, election, education, media awareness, gender equality, and youth empowerment. So tell me, Amandine, what prompted you to embark on this journey? You worked in over 25 countries with all these major organizations like United Nations, UNICEF, UN, Women, on peace building and conflict resolution. So tell us a little bit about what inspires you to do all these things.
Thank you very much, Purnima, and thank you for asking this question. Well, it's very simple. I was kind of very aware when I was a small girl about the situation of human rights in the world, thanks to my parents, because I was lucky enough to travel with them in a less developed country as France, where I was born. And my mother as well was a political refugee from Poland. And she was a human rights activist with Amnesty International. And she really made me aware of the situation of human rights in the world and also in Poland, where there was a movement of Solidarność with Lech Walesa to create more solidarity after the communist regime. And so I realized, like, quickly, I get interested to this cause. And what literally changed my life is when I decided to study law when I was 18. At my university, His Holiness the Dalai Lama came and spoke about the violation of human rights in Tibet and the non-violent resistance of the Tibetan. And I literally fell in love with this cause and who is him, and is a Peace Nobel laureate. And I decided that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I just wanted to go to Tibet, go to Dharamsala, study and meet the Tibetan refugees, listen to their cause, and embrace myself on the path of human rights and write my political science thesis on the violation of human rights in Tibet around the kidnapping of the Panchen Lama, the second highest authority of Tibet. And this is how I decided to join United Nations and just to focus on human rights, on women empowerment, peace building, conflict resolution with United Nations for the last 20 years now.
Thank you so much, Amanda. That's so inspiring. Imagine a teenager meeting the Dalai Lama when she's just so young and her entire life journey is started out with that just single meeting. It's such an inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us today. So today, as we discuss womanhood and human rights, as we are commemorating the United Nations International Day of Human Rights, tell me a little bit about the Declaration of the Human Rights of 1948.
I always consider the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as my Bible. I always carry the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in my wallet. And you know what? It's the most translated document in the world. It has been translated in 524 times. It's even got the Guinness record of translation in the world, like more than the Bible, I believe. So imagine, it's quite something. And what I really like about this Declaration of Human Rights, it's different legal and cultural background from all the region of the world, and it's proclaimed at the General Assembly at United Nations in Paris, my own country, in December 10, 1948. And I remember when I discovered the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I was only 13. It was during a course of history, and the teacher was telling us about the fact that René Cassin, who is the co-author of the Declaration of Human Rights, he was such a noble man because he got the Peace Nobel Prize for what he wrote and all his experience, of course, fighting for justice and human rights because he was a jurist, a French jurist. And because of that, they decided to transfer his remains, ashes, were exhumed and enshrined to the Panthéon in France. The Panthéon is only a place for the most, it's a historical monument for the most noble and most famous men and women in France. And so I really got intrigued by René Cassin, and I always put him on a pedestal of what I would like to become in my life, or at least to follow his path, because he wrote the first draft of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and with Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of Franklin Roosevelt. I have a lot of admiration for her as well. And she's been credited for being an instrumental in supporting the declaration adoption, both in US and across the world. And she supported the adoption of the text as a declaration rather than a treaty, because actually she believed that if it would have been a treaty, it would have not been the same kind of influence. So she really wanted to make the Declaration of Human Rights as the United States Declaration of Independence. And I have to say, yes, it's like this seed have been planted within myself when I was still a small girl. And this is make me become who I am right now.
Thank you so much, Amandine. You know, I was intrigued when you said this is the most translated document in the world, and I was thinking maybe you're going to say a number, and then you just said 523 languages, and that was like, I didn't even know there were so many languages in the world. That was so inspiring, and thank you for sharing that little tidbit about Eleanor Roosevelt. What do you think is the most important human right in the world, and why?
Before speaking with you, Purnima, I read again the Declaration of Human Rights, and it's not an easy question to answer which human right is the most important one, because all of them are the most important one. And if I have to pick up one, or if I have to pick up one article, I realize I will choose the preamble of the Declaration of Human Rights, because it's such a profound text, because it's a commitment actually to the people, to progressive measure, to be recognized in the world. And I'm going to read it to you. They say, all the members of the human family is a foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Human beings should enjoy freedom of speech and belief, freedom from fear and want, has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people. Human rights should be protected by the rule of law. It's essential to promote the development of friendly relations between nations. The people of United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person. And as a common understanding that all this right and freedom is the greatest importance for full realization and pledge. And so I cannot say I want to pick up one, but the preamble will gather all of them. And you cannot have freedom of speech without freedom of belief, and all of them are all interconnected. That's why it's a charter, that's why it's a declaration. For more peace, harmony, and in the world.
Thank you so much, Amanda. That was a very holistic answer. You know, I read a little bit about you before we started having this interview, and I was very inspired that you worked in Afghanistan with the United Nations for peace building. So can you share with us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. So as I mentioned to you before, because after meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I just wanted to work with United Nations. So my first job was with UNICEF in Uzbekistan and after in Tajikistan. And working in Tajikistan, I started to work with Afghan refugees. And I really fell in love with them because they were so resilient, so courageous, so noble, and carrying so much grace despite the fight and the war they were fleeing from Afghanistan to Tajikistan. And I realized that I just wanted to know more about these people. I went to Afghanistan by chance, September 11, 2001. I was in Kabul, and it was a tipping point in my life that completely changed my life because I realized this is the cause I was looking for on so many levels, on human rights level, on women rights, on peace, on democracy. And I decided to come back there and join United Nations and work as head of civic education program with United Nations in 2003, so 17 years ago. And it was a fascinating work because it was just after the Taliban regime and women were still shy, you know, they were staying at home, scared to take the lead and speak or even have a job. And our job was doing door to doors and open the door and say to the woman, get out, now it's your time to speak, it's your time to express yourself, and you have a role to play in democracy, and you have a role to play as a leader. You can become deputy, senator, or president of his country. And so not only we help them to get out, but we also help them to become civic educators or help them to do the electoral campaign to become deputy or senator. So it was very rewarding work, I have to say. And I realized that, yes, I found my mission. This is what I was looking for, actually. I knew I wanted to work with United Nations. I knew I wanted to work on democracy, human rights, and women empowerment. And Afghanistan was the best playground for that.
I cannot imagine, you know, somebody knocking on my door and telling me, come on, get out, go and vote. And I'm astounded by the progress which you have created in that country. Thank you so much for all that you've been doing. How could we actually change people's attitudes and actions to reflect peace? You were just telling me that you did this with all these wonderful women in Afghanistan, with our sisters. How could you actually change their way of thinking?
Yeah, and you know, for Nima, it's interesting because I'm answering to you right now from Central Africa in Bangui, where I'm working with UN Women Empowerment. So 20 years after, I keep on doing the same. I still believe that women can change the world if and only if they fully embrace who they are at the soul level and also at the gender level. Because I do believe that what the world needs right now more than ever, it's more caring, more love, more harmony, more empathy, more compassion, and love. And this is what women carry within themselves, and men as well. But I'm talking about the feminine part. And so to answer your question, I after leaving Afghanistan in 2004, I was kind of burnout and having PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I went back to see the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala. And I went to his teaching. And at some point he said, you cannot bring outer peace if you don't focus on your inner peace first. And it really shocked my foundation because it made me realize that's so true. I work for a peace organization around the world, and why I'm to work for peace if I'm not peace with myself first? I'm a fraud. And I decided to go on a journey to bring peace within myself because I realized I was working with this famous organization at the end without knowing what real peace was. And I decided to meet all the spiritual masters who teach inner peace and non-violence in India, in your country, such as the Dalai Lama, such as Karmapa, such as Goenkaji and Vipassana, such as Gandhiji Gandhi in Sevagram Ashram, and also Amma in Kerala, and I went to see Krishnamurti Foundation, and I went to see also Sri Aurobindo, and also Sri Ramana Ramanashi in Tirumalavalai, and I went to Calcutta with Mother Teresa Center. Like, I was literally on a spiritual journey of awakening, or at least to understand deep within myself, what do we mean by peace? And it was a fascinating journey for me because it was an inner transformation journey where I discovered my monkey mind thanks to meditation and vipassana. And when I reconnect mind, body, and spirit thanks to yoga, and I become a yoga meditation teacher after this beautiful journey in 2007, 13 years ago. And afterward, United Nations called me back to go to Afghanistan again. And I was kind of scared because I found my inner peace at this time, you know, like a diver going deep, deep, deep in an abyss and finding peace where they don't want to go up. And it was the same for me. And I say, I prefer to stay in my cave, kind of, or my meditation center. I don't need to be bothered anymore. And but I realized, yes, but I decided to commit myself, you know, for peace in the world and women empowerment. So maybe I can add this tool to the gift I can offer to women. And I came back to Afghanistan, but I realized despite the fact that there was a lot of insecurity more than before, I was keeping my peace within. And I was feeling more grounded, more anchored within myself, more aligned. And I realized that all Afghans were suffering of PTSD, and maybe I could offer them this tool of yoga meditation, which helped me a lot to recover from my own PTSD. And I decided to create the Amanuddin Foundation in Afghanistan. Amanuddin was the name of the Taliban to me when I first came in Kabul in 2001. Because it's similar to my name, Amandine, and Aman stands for peace, and Din religion. So Amanuddin means the religion of peace. And so we were teaching yoga meditation everywhere, in orphanage, in school, in prison, to the Taliban as well. And surprisingly, it was very well welcome because, of course, they could see the inner effect of this tool and the profound healing operating on themselves. And this is what I did.
That was so inspiring. Any journey is inspiring, and especially a journey of peace is not only just inspiring, it's totally revealing. And I'm glad you were able to do that. And thank you for sharing that beautiful journey with all of us here today. So my next question to you is, do you think we need to create a new charter for the right to peace? Can we make a mandate? I listened to your TED talk earlier, and you spoke about this a little bit. I would like to hear from you about this in a deeper context of what does it mean for a human being to have a right for peace?
That's a good question. That's, I believe it's kind of the answer. Like, I remember in his teaching, the Dalai Lama was saying, first you need to put peace within yourself. And when you find peace within, your peace will radiate to your family, and after to your community, and after to your village and the city and your country and to the world, and not the other way around. So it's always start by the nuclear, like by yourself. And also this is deeply resonate within myself, because the only work we have to do is on ourselves, nothing else, you know. It's the way you reach enlightenment, awakening, on meeting yourself at the soul level, because it's at the soul level that you realize you are peace, you are joy, you are bliss, you are awareness, you are harmony and compassion in this world. And by touching within yourself this quality will emanate from within to the world, and this quality at the highest quality of consciousness, and this quality vibrate at the higher level, And this is what we need more than ever now, to help Gaia, Earth, to transition to a new Earth on a higher level of frequency. And this is why I believe we came on Earth to find within ourselves peace, harmony, love, joy, bliss, to be the children of Earth and help our mother to transition to this new Garden of Eden. And so, how do I do that on the daily basis? Well, after creating Amanuddin Foundation, I created the Inner Peacekeeping Program. It's a program to teach the tool of inner peace to the humanitarian on the front line who suffer of burnout, depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So we taught this program in refugee camp, in Zaatari camp, in Jordan, in Lebanon, and now the program is worldwide. And now I'm creating the Inner Peace Corps. It's an organization where we bring all these tools to refugee camp and transform refugee camp into healing camp. And we do women empowerment. So we empower the woman from within. First, we heal them from the trauma. We reconnect mind, body, and spirit with yoga, meditation, EFT, EMDR, hypnose, all these holistic techniques that I use in my own healing. And I'm a living example that it works, because I didn't know when you have PTSD, you are like 75% dead. So only 25% remain within yourself to pretend you are still alive, but you are gone somewhere else. And all this taking helps you to come back to Earth and be alive again. And afterward, we do more like we call it artist, to help you to cultivate the heart and develop your inner gift. Artistic gift could be dancing, cooking, gardening, and singing, or drawing, painting, sculpting. And after, we help them to live out of their gift and go back to the society and the community and become an ambassador of Inner Peace Corps. So I'm working on that in Middle East right now. But I still work with United Nations on women empowerment in Central Africa. So this is what I'm up to.
Thank you so much for that beautiful answer, Amandine. I totally agree with what you said about peace starts with the self, with this higher inner self. And the only work ever possible by me is for me at my soul level. And it's very deep, poignant, and resonated so much with all of us. The quality of peace, which you said, is to make us all vibrate at a higher frequency. At that note, I would like to offer a session of heartfulness, relaxation, and meditation, an experiential session to all of us, to you, to the viewers. We can begin, and it's a very short session. I'll take you through the heartfulness, relaxation, and meditation. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Let's begin from the toes. Wiggle your toes. Relax your toes. Feel an energy from Mother Earth rising up through your feet. And as this energy rises up, it relaxes your feet. This energy rises up and relaxes your calf muscles, your knees, your thighs. And it is very soothing. As this energy rises up, it relaxes your hips. Feel this energy relaxing your lower back, slowly moving up and relaxing your upper back. Bring your attention to your chest and relax your chest. Feel this energy moving through your arms, relaxing your arms, elbows, wrist, palm, fingers, fingertips. This energy is now oozing out of your fingertips. Your arms are completely relaxed. Feel your shoulders relaxing as this energy moves up to your shoulders and neck, relaxing your neck. Slowly bring your attention to your head as this energy moves up and relaxes your facial muscles, your jaws, lips, cheeks, nose, ears, eyes, forehead, till the tip of your head. All parts of your head, all facial muscles are completely relaxed. Scan your whole body. Your whole body is completely relaxed. If necessary, let this energy move to other parts of your body which needs relaxation and relax it. Slowly bring your attention to your heart. There is a source of love and light in your heart. Let's meditate on this source of light in the heart, and this light is drawing us deep within, and our meditation is deep within our heart. If other thoughts interfere, gently ignore them and bring your attention back to the heart. Let's meditate together for a few minutes. Please open your eyes when you're ready.
Thank you, Purnima.
Thank you for the wonderful webinar.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us in the meditation. Thanks to all the participants for joining us today in this webinar. If you have any questions for Amandine Roche, you can add them as comments to this webinar and we will forward it to Amandine. Thank you so much. There are a lot of heartfulness literature, heartfulness resources, which is available towards the end of this webinar. Stay tuned and please avail the services of Heartfulness Institute. All of them is free of cost. Thank you so much for joining us today.